What's going on, guys? Coach Hayden here, and today we're going to be talking about 4 benefits of strength training for health. So a lot of the times we come to the gym, we think about numbers, increasing our lifts, getting as strong as possible, and don't get me wrong, those are great goals to have when you come to the gym. But on the other side of things, for long-term goals and keeping you strength training for the longest during your life, doing it for health reasons is by far going to be the thing that motivates you the most. So that's what we're going to focus on today. So for the 4 reasons, 4 benefits, we have first, strength training increases muscle mass, reduces blood pressure, reduces blood sugar, and it increases the amount of calories that you burn. So first, it increases muscle mass. Apart from just aesthetic reasons, looking nice in the mirror or fitting better in your clothes, having more muscle mass actually has lots of health benefits. The first of which is that it helps keep you independent. So when you think about doing things like carrying the groceries into the house or loading your luggage in the bin above your seat in the airplane, these are all things that you can do as part of an independent lifestyle. And if you let things just be as you age, those kinds of capabilities can dwindle. But if you come into the gym and train your muscles to be intentionally bigger and stronger, then those activities, you can still do those even as you age later in life. Secondly, this is more on the extreme side of things, but heaven forbid if you had to be hospitalized for some reason and you come down with some sort of acute illness, if you have lots of muscle on your frame, your body has a greater what is called physiologic reserve, which all that means is that your body has more resources to fight against whatever it is that you're dealing with. So if you get into a physical pinch and you need to be admitted, then when you have more muscle, that means that your body is able to bounce back quicker and fight it off a lot faster and more efficiently. Secondly, is that strength training helps to reduce blood pressure. So this is actually going to address one of the myths around strength training in particular, is that it raises blood pressure, which is not necessarily true. It's like a catch-22, where it's like, yes, acutely, it can elevate your blood pressure, but overall, when you think about chronic effects of strength training, it actually reduces blood pressure very significantly. One study in 2018 tried to analyze this question. They took data from 197 clinical trials, which all tried to look at the question of what happens when people with high blood pressure engage in different kinds of activity, strength training included. But before we get to the results of those, let's first talk about what it means to have normal blood pressure. If you've ever been to the doctor, or if you've been to the supermarket and you put your arm in that little pressure cuff by the pharmacy, normal blood pressure is 120 systolic over 80 diastolic pressure. A little bit below that's fine, but that's what normal is defined as. 120 to 130 is slightly elevated, and anything greater than or equal to 130 in that top number qualifies as high blood pressure, or what is known as hypertension. So those are our parameters. Now going back to the results. So these studies all tried to examine for people who qualified with high blood pressure, anyone greater than or equal to 130 in that top number, what happens when they start strength training? That was one of the groups they looked at. What they found is that people who regularly strength trained saw a reduction in that top number of 7.83 points. That's really significant considering the fact that those that only took medications saw a reduction of 8.8 points. So really comparable. But if you add in some cardio with that strength training, an even greater reduction was seen at 13.5 points. That's crazy low, considering the fact that that's even better than the medication group. Not saying that you shouldn't be taking medications if you are already and you're in consultation with your doctor. Definitely listen to them, but strength training is a great way to reduce blood pressure. Thirdly, strength training helps to reduce blood sugar. So if we think about a lot of other health problems that affect adults worldwide and the United States, blood pressure, blood sugar, tobacco use, those are the things that are usually the highest global risk factors, blood pressure being the leading one, but elevated blood sugar is also one of them in the top 3. So reducing blood sugar can be something that we focus on, especially in strength training. And for all you nerds out there in our readership and those of you who are listening, there in your muscles, there is a receptor called a GLUT4 receptor, which is a protein that is responsible for drawing sugar out of your blood and into your muscles. And it does this all the time. But when you start strength training, the rate at which it does this is a lot greater, and the amount of sugar that it draws from your blood into your muscles is exponentially higher once you start training. And if you begin to strength train more often, and it's a frequent part of your lifestyle, then that lowered blood sugar is maintained. So it's a great reason to strength train. Lastly and fourthly is that strength training helps to increase the amount of calories that you burn. So for those of you who are concerned about weight loss, you have weight loss goals, which is a lot of our clients here at Steel, this is going to be a great piece of advice and information for you, because once we start strength training And going back to the first point, and as a result, gain more muscle mass, you now have a greater energy expenditure. And what that means is when you have more muscle on your body, so we're strengthening, getting stronger, and increasing that amount of muscle mass, that means that you burn more calories at rest. So even though you're doing nothing, you're not doing any activity, you burn more calories having more muscle than you would if you had less muscle. So that's a great thing. And what that also does, it allows you to be more flexible with your diet, to where instead of having to eat a 700 calorie deficit in order to lose weight from where your weight is right now you only have to eat, let's say, 400 calories less, because those extra calories are being expended when you're strength training. So that can be a great thing to progress you on your way to weight loss, because a 400 calorie deficit is a good bit easier to manage than a 700 calorie deficit. And all you have to do is train at least twice a week with strength training techniques. So those are 4 health tips to keep in mind. If you are already strength training, keep doing what you're doing. But if you're on the fence, these are great things to keep in mind that could get you moving in the right direction. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.